It's been a month since I said that I will upload a weekly content about my life experience. Well, the truth is, I have quite a lot of college work and activities to do, so I'm trying my best to upload a weekly content about my life experience. To you guys, I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hoping in this year of 2023 we are having a lot of success for us towards our dreams, ambition and goals in life. I hope the best for all of you. Thank you so much for coming in this second episode. I really appreciate you guys, and in this episode I want to share my experience when I'm taking the TOEFL IBT exam. This was dated back in 2018. I know it's very long time, like 4 years ago, so I think that my story will help you for those of you who are considering to take the TOEFL IBT test. For those of you who don't know the TOEFL IBT test, what is TOEFL IBT test? So basically, TOEFL IBT test is like English proficiency exam to measure our ability to understand English, either by reading, written, and heard and spoken. So this exam usually required by the university abroad, somewhere in the US, in the UK, Australia, and many more. They might require us to have English proficiency exams, and this can be taken through the TOEFL IBT. TOEFL IBT basically is English based exam, so we are going to the test center, and then there's a exam that we have to work on in front of the computer, and the test usually takes somewhere around 3 hours, but it really depends on the test taker itself, usually somewhere around 3 hours. And then there's another exam from the ETS. So the ETS is non-profit organizations in the US. They have some exam that we can take. There's another exam other than TOEFL IBT. So there's a TOEFL PBT exam. So PBT is like paper-based exam. This is not internet-based, and usually the current universities doesn't require it anymore, but they now require TOEFL IBT, but it's different between the universities, so better to check on the universities directly. And then there's another organization who are conducted English proficiency exam. There's IELTS, who are conducted by British Council, and then there's also Duolingo English proficiency exam, Duolingo English Test, we can call that. Duolingo is a US organization, US company as well. So there's some of the option that we can take to take the English proficiency exam. Because I take the TOEFL IBT, I'm going to share the how to first of all register to it, because this was my experience that I went through. So if you want to take the TOEFL IBT, you need to head over to the ETS site. So in the ETS site, there is a login or register. Think that you can head over that, and then you can register, make your ETS account. So don't forget to pick the TOEFL site, and then you create account if you haven't already yet. And after that, you have like in the portal your account. You can pick the test center where you want to choose. There's an option because of the pandemic, so there's a option that you can take the TOEFL IBT in the test center somewhere near in your city, in your town, and then you can take the TOEFL IBT at home edition. So there's an option because of the pandemic and the health regulation and everything for people who can't go into the test center. So it's really up to you to take that. For my case, I'm choosing to pick the exam at the test center because the pandemic is not occurred when I was back in 2018. So yeah, you can then in the portal you can see the preparation. So ETS provide preparation for you to prepare yourself before the exam. There's like a PDF, like online book, or the practice exam and everything. You can head over to that, and then also you can see your score in the portal, and then also the order that you have made for the exam itself. And the price for the TOEFL IBT, in my case, in 2018 is $205, and now it's the same, $205. So it's worth considering for you to take that exam. And then this exam is valid for 2 years. When you head over to the portal, you want to register, you need to fill the identification, the personal and background information. So you need to fill that, and then after that there's this section, the score reporting reference, where first of all you can send your score to 4 university or 4 institution maximum for free. So if you want to send to the 5th institution, you have to pay an additional cost. You can check on the website. The 4 institutions, like they have like a code. So for example, if you want to attend NYU, they have like a 4-digit codes that you can input it to the portal when you're registering for the TOEFL IBT. So you can send the score to the NYU by that code that the university give you. Each institution or university has their own code. Then you have to make sure that you fill the right code before you fill the score to the institution that you're going to send. And then after that, there's a paper copy that will be mailed to you in your address. So you will have the print version of your score, other than the PDF or the online version as well. It's for free, because we already paid $205, so it has to be free, right? And then after that, you will do the test. I suggest that you register 1 month in advance, because you will compete with other people in the room in about the reservation. So you need to do that. I suggest about 1 month in order to avoid a fully booked seat in the specific date that you want to take. Then in my case, this is the reason why I feel like I don't want to take this test anymore, because first of all, I was unprepared. This is what the time where I was like strangled between my dreams and the deadline. So in my senior year of high school, as I mentioned in previous videos, I want to attend NYU in my senior year of high school. So this was like in August, and this was like in August in my senior year of high school. I want to attend NYU, but the deadline is on November 1st, because I want to apply for the early decision 1. So I have this time of 4 months, somewhere around 4 months, and I have to prepare everything that NYU required English proficiency exam across all different options, the IELTS and any other English language. I chose TOEFL IBT. So I have 3 months to prepare, because 1 month before the deadline, I'm taking the TOEFL test, the IBT test, the real test. And then during those 3 months, I also attended the preparatory courses. So in my hometown in Yogyakarta, there is a preparatory course for the TOEFL IBT conducted by SILAX UII, or SILAX Universitas Islam Indonesia. I studied the preparatory for the TOEFL IBT for about a month, and then the other 2 months I managed to do self-study for the exam. And so the test itself is conducted in October, so I'm taking the test in October because November is the deadline for in my case. And then for you, before that, my experience about the test is not that great because I chose the test center at SILAX UII. So SILAX UII or SILAX Universitas Islam Indonesia provide the preparatory courses and the real exam. And then the real exam itself from the ETS portal that I was mentioned earlier is conducting the test center in the SILAX UII. So I attended that place to do the exam. And then when I arrived there, the first time I arrived, we have to wait in lines because the room is still closed. We still need to wait like 15 minutes. So I waited with other participants there, and then we're when the room opened, we're standing in line. And then we have to show our passport and our documentation and everything. And then after that, we need to go to the room, and then each people will be taking a photo of like, I don't know, for the results. Yeah, for the results. So we need to take photo. They will take photo of us in the room, and then after that we're assigned to our seat for the exam. And when the exam is when the exam was started, I work on the exam. It's normal because I prepare for about 3 months for the exams. I prepare for the listening part, the speaking part, the reading part, and the writing part. So I prepare all of that. But the mess occur when the speaking part and the listening part of each participant. So in my case, the distance between each participant is too close. For example, the person besides me is like only a few centimeters away. Because of that, when the speaking part taking place or the listening part taking place, some of the participant pace are different, so they may be already in the listening part while I'm still in the reading part, or they're maybe in the speaking part. And because of the headphone, we use a headphone to have the listening part, so we can use the headphone all the time if we want to get distracted by other people. The headphone is not that great, and the seal for the headphone is not that noise cancelling. I say that because I can hear what other people are saying. When the people beside me are in his or her speaking part and I'm still on my reading part, I cannot concentrate. I can't get focus on my part because he or she is always speaking like quite loud, and then I can hear each word they are saying. This is not like I can think of like, this is what they are saying, this is what the answer will look like, because I will get all into that part. But this is more so like I have to work on my part, and then they are disturbing me, so I cannot concentrate on that. And this makes my reading part is really messed up. And because of that, when each people have their own pace, so some people might finish the exam earlier than me, because in my case some people are already finished when I'm still in my last part of the exam about 15 minutes earlier. They're already finished, they get out to the room, and then I still have my part. But in the middle of the exam, the part when I started to have the maybe the speaking part or the listening part, the other people are disturbing. This is not really great, because it really messed up with my result, my work, and therefore not just because this part occurred, but because I was unprepared for the exam. It took too fast for me to learn 3 months only for the TOEFL IBT. I think it requires more than that, and so that my score is 65. I got 65 on my TOEFL IBT exam. This is really low compared to other applicants that are applying to the university, because the university, like the NYU, stated that most of the applicants have their score of TOEFL IBT is 100, and I'm only got 65, so it's really lower my chance to get into that university. But this is not because of the external factor that I can control. This is because the internal factor that I can control. But this is because this is too fast for me. Like, I'm too mature to, no, too early to do this. It's like 3 months of preparation, and then and this is like not really good, the thing. And for you, the one who maybe if you want to attend the university in abroad, or in the US, the UK, and Australia, and maybe you consider to take TOEFL IBT exam, my advice to you, or this is the strategy that you can't use. Make sure you prepare the test in advance. In my case, I was like in the 3 months of preparation, and for me this is too fast, so I should be prepared months before that. I suggest 6 months. If you want to take the TOEFL IBT test, you can prepare 6 months in advance to learn the TOEFL IBT. I read and I watch in YouTube and the internet that there's a book that really can help you. There's a book called Baron TOEFL IBT. You can maybe look at the bookstore if you want to. I think it's quite good. I'm not buying that, but I use the sources in the book from my preparatory courses institution in Silex UE. I'm not using Baron IBT, but I think it's quite good, so you can check on that maybe. But I suggest 6 months for you to prepare, but it really depends on you. It really depends on you, because you're the one who know yourself, so better get to know that. And then for you, I suggest you to register in advance, because some of the seats may be fully booked. I suggest like maybe 1 month before the exam itself takes place. And then consider to pick the right test center. This might sound very weird, because if we want to take the test at the specific, in the portal we can fill the city, the test that we want to take in the certain city. So there's the list of the test center. If we look at the test center from the internet, we might not get the opportunity to look at the specific room that we're going to take. But if there's a chance that you can take a research on that, you can see the test center, it will be great, because you can then avoid the things that I encountered. The test center that not really great, I said that, but yeah. And then you can also consider to choose the TOEFL IBT at home edition, because there will be no interference from other people that will disturb you in any way, shape or form. You just need to have your own device and everything to be prepared, right? And then you can maybe consider to choose another English language proficiency exam. For example, my sister, she took IELTS exam, and she said that in the IELTS exam, in the speaking section, you will be head face to face with the person that will ask you the question, so there will be no interfere from the other people, like the TOEFL IBT that I mentioned. And based on this on the research that I found on the internet, IELTS is way more easier than TOEFL IBT, so you can take a look and maybe consider that. And then there's another English proficiency exam that I also have taken. It's a Duolingo English Test. So some institution now, because of the pandemic, they are accepting Duolingo English Test. This English test is like TOEFL IBT at home edition, where you can take the test in your own home. Duolingo English Test that you need to have your own devices such as adequate laptop and everything. After that, the test itself is way more cheaper than the TOEFL IBT. So TOEFL IBT costs around $205, but the Duolingo English Test costs $50. It's way more cheaper. The IELTS the IELTS costs around $200, so it's almost the same as the TOEFL IBT, but the Duolingo English Test is way more cheaper, so you can consider that. But make sure the institution that you want to attend accept Duolingo English Test, and then you can have a take a look at the internet or on the YouTube and do some research whether you want to take the TOEFL IBT or the Duolingo English Test or the IELTS. There's a lot of option for you, but for me, I'm not going to take the TOEFL IBT again. It's really not worth it for me. The money that I already spent with the experience that I get in the exam itself, it's really annoying for me, and I don't like the experience, and therefore I will, if I need to take other English proficiency exams, I will take a look at the Duolingo or the IELTS. Yeah, I also have taken the Duolingo, but I will share my experience in another episode, because this already it's 21 minutes, so it's quite long, the video itself. But yeah, hope you learned something from this video. I really thank you for watching this video and to go over to my content. Really appreciate that. I'm planning to upload weekly content, I promise, but yeah, I have another activities, so some video might take longer to upload and to make, and then yeah, just wait for that. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you learned something, guys. See you.